I want to dispel a myth, the idea that running with scissors is dangerous. Running with scissors, contrary to popular opinion, is not the slightest bit dangerous. It's quite safe, actually. I think what happens is that people confuse running with scissors with tripping and falling with scissors. Now, tripping and falling with scissors, on the other hand, that's where the problem lies. Tripping and falling with scissors can be quite dangerous. Running with scissors is, frankly, quite safe in and of itself. Consider this a public service announcement. Education. It's just part of what I do. I remember being about 4 years old and listening to my mom sing in church. She had a beautiful soprano voice, and I would proudly stand next to her and gaze up in admiration, and she would look down at me and smile. I would turn around and face the people in the pew behind us and nod towards my mom as if to say, "Do you hear that? That's real singing. I don't know what the hell you're doing back there, but this is the way it's supposed to be done." And then I'd look at my mom, marveling at what at the time was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. When my mom sang about God, everyone within earshot believed, and I was so proud. She'd sing to me at bedtime, sitting at the foot of the stairs after a long day of housework. I think it was good for her, as if she were releasing the stress and worry of the day, as she sang songs like Little Sir Echo or Playmate in such dulcet tones that I rarely stayed awake beyond the first chorus of the second song. But I think she continued singing, although she knew I was asleep, because it made her feel good, made her feel young, and connected her with her mother, who had sung her to sleep when she was a child. Then one day it was gone. I remember sitting in church. I was probably about 12, long after she had stopped singing me to sleep. It was truly a moment in time that I won't forget. She began singing the hymns as usual, but an octave down and at a lower volume. I thought to myself, what's going on? And again I looked at the people in the pew behind me, but this time looking for them to maybe answer my question, but they just stared blankly ahead. I thought maybe it was just a cold or a temporary laryngitis, but that was not the case. The next Sunday and every following Sunday it was the same. She would sing, but no longer in that soprano voice that made my heart soar. For whatever reason, menopause or some vocal malady, my mom's days of singing were gone, at least in the way she had sung in the past. And there was a sense of sadness and loss that I felt, and I'm sure she felt even more so. She would have been 88 today, and if she were here I would thank her for everything she gave me, but especially the gift of song. It stayed with me, and I think I honor her when I sing, so I continue to sing. I'm lucky that way, and I'm lucky for the mother I had. Thanks, Mom. I can still hear you singing. If we never look back, never learning, never know where we already been, and history keeps repeating itself time and again. And life is a song we sing out of time, a bucket of notes and a barrel of rhymes, and we learn from our mistakes, and that's just what it takes. Sometimes your heart it breaks, and that's just what it takes, my friend. This year my wife celebrated her 54th birthday. I remember seeing her for the first time when she was in first grade and I was in second grade. I thought she was beautiful. So naturally I immediately filed her name in the out of my league category and moved on. I didn't muster up the courage to ask her out for roughly another 10 years, the summer before my senior year and her junior year in high school. And when I did, I went the unconventional route of asking her out for 2 dates on consecutive Friday and Saturday nights, thereby guaranteeing a second date. She surprisingly agreed. I had a feeling that otherwise I wouldn't get a second date. And I was right, for a while. After those 2 dates and the duration of my senior year, we wouldn't go out again. I'd asked and she declined, and pride prevented me from pursuing it any further. I would admire her from afar, until my graduation, when somehow I defied the odds and won her over. We've been together since then, some 36 years or so. She's always been very low maintenance, doesn't like jewelry of any kind. Her ears have never been pierced. Her lack of interest in jewelry is to the point that we don't even have wedding rings. Never have, never will. She's not into clothes, doesn't really care what the latest fashions are. probably because she could look beautiful in a burlap sack. I'm a clothes horse, and she doesn't care about clothes in the least. We've reversed roles in so many cases. She does the bills, I've cooked all our meals for 36 years. I'm okay with that, and so is she. So what does she want for her 54th birthday? It's always been tough buying for her, but this year there was something she definitely wanted. Just one thing. And she made no bones about how much she wanted it. And it caught me a little by surprise. What was it, you ask? A twirling baton. Yes, a twirling baton. The kind that majorettes and bugle corps use. Not the toy baton you would buy for a kid. A real baton. That's what she wanted, a professional twirling baton. When she was little, her two older sisters were in a drum and bugle corps when they were teens, and she longed to twirl too. But the organization disbanded before she was old enough, so it was a dream that went on the back burner. Till now. So we celebrated her 54th birthday and she got her baton. And since then she's been twirling on a nightly basis. I've encouraged her to go in the backyard and twirl and accidentally let the baton slip out of her hand and hit our neighbor's barking dog in the head. But she has ignored my request. For now she's twirling in the living room. I occasionally hear the baton fall to the floor, and it brings me joy because I know twirling makes her happy, and it's a realization of something she's had in the back of her mind for a long, long time. And here it is. It's happening. It's real. She's twirling, and she doesn't care in the least if anyone thinks it's silly. That's not important to her. She's twirling, and it's wonderful. So at 55, I started playing the guitar, and she started twirling the baton. New adventures. Just a couple of kids who know it's never too late to start something new. If it's in your heart, there's only one thing you can do. Let it out. And let the parade begin.
And it's been quite a ride. It really has. We've had our ups and downs, but the downs have been very few and the ups have been plentiful, and I'm very lucky. And one of the things that, if you get to know Dan on any kind of a professional level, you'll find out that Dan can write a song in the time that it takes most of us to wolf down an extra value meal at McDonald's. And Dan will call and say, I've got a couple of new songs. Do you want to come over? And I'll go over, and the piano will be lined up, like, literally stack after stack after stack of paper on the piano. He's extremely prolific, and it always struck me as odd. It's like, how do you find that much to write about? But, he's got a sensitivity that a lot of writers lack.
I appreciate, and thank you, Alex. Like I said, this would never even have occurred. I would have never thought of reading stories out loud had it not been for Alex. And
I love you, Dan.
I love you too, Alex. Block that's tied around your waist. Some love's a smorgasbord, but you never get a taste. Some love will strangle you and hang you out to dry. Some love's a sharp stick that'll poke you in the eye. But when love rolls you nice and easy, like summer soft and breezy,